Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Hop episode 41. Now that we've crossed 40, it's starting to sink in how many of these we've actually done.
It's a lot, and I'm excited to keep it going. Hi, everybody. What's happening?
Los Angeles Ale Works is coming at you today. We're headed to the West Coast where we haven't been in quite a while. So
Yes. We realize most of the breweries we've hit have been either Massachusetts, Vermont, or Connecticut. So we're jumping ship. We're moving over to the other coast, and this brewery is going to be really fun. We got 3 beers coming up. 1 we're sharing, 2 we're not. Without further ado, hey, Steven.
Yes?
Let's grab a drink. All right, Steven, so we're heading back to your neck of the woods, as I like to call it. How is LA? Is it still sunny? Is it colder at all?
No. it's really hot here. I landed in LA over the weekend, and I got off the plane, and of course I was wearing like jeans and had like a sweatshirt because I had just come from the East Coast, and it was like 95, and I got in the lift, and the lift driver, I was like, has it been hot? She's like, yeah, thank God it cooled down. It was 95.
You're sitting there sweating your ass off.
It was 60 when I left the East Coast. So no, it hasn't cooled down at all. It's very Los Angeles hazy, but I feel like I got just enough East Coast fall. Like, I caught the pretty part. I got to see some leaves change color. I got a couple like, oh, it's getting cold days, and then I got the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and then now coming up, you're gonna come home for Thanksgiving and be like, damn it. Back to the cold.
As soon as I see snow, I'm out. I don't no time for that. Anyway, the Hop has come back to LA with me. Los Angeles Ale Works, one we've been sitting on doing for a while, and I got to stop by the brewery to pick up some beer in person from the spot, and this is gonna be a good one, guys. You're gonna wanna
I'm pumped.
Stick around if
you have somewhere to be, cancel plans because we're here now.
Give us a follow at the HO Podcast. We're on Instagram and Twitter. You're gonna wanna check us out on there. That's where you can see all the pictures of the beers we drink, pictures of the places we've been. You could DM us if you feel so inclined. We enjoy hearing from our listeners. We've heard from some people of late, and that's really fun. You could tell us what you want us to drink on the show. You can make suggestions, requests. We may listen, we may not, but you got to shoot your shot. You know what I'm saying?
Throw the dart at the board and see what sticks. As we always say, if there's another brewery we should hit, if there's a brewery we should repeat, we need to know.
And you can subscribe to us on YouTube. Click the bell. Get us over that 100 YouTube subscribers. Let us customize our YouTube URL. We'll name it after the 100th subscriber. We won't. I'm not making that promise. Never mind.
Not if it's not. Yeah. Whoa. Wait a minute. Careful
I'm immediately rescinding that. And you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Get our show in your feed automatically every Thursday morning. When you wake up, it'll be there.
And with that, should we dive into what's happening in the beer world?
Beer news.
Yeah, we got transition music. It's real now. All right.
Now you know you're in the news.
What's going on in the world? The first Asian American owned hard seltzer is launching this month. It is called Lunar. It was created by Kevin Wong and Sean Rowe in 2019. Apparently, they were eating at some of their favorite authentic Asian restaurants, and all that was on the menu to drink was Budweiser and things of that nature. So they wanted to offer appropriate beverage pairings for authentic Asian cuisine. This seltzer is being made with real fruit that Asian Americans will find familiar and nostalgic. So they're sourcing many of the ingredients directly from Asia. They're kicking things off this month with the yuzu flavor, which is made with real fruit from Japan, the yuzu fruit. And then later this month, or I guess later on, they'll be launching several other traditional Asian flavors, including a, quote, fragrant, summery lychee hard seltzer using fruit nectar from Thailand, and a refreshing, grassy winter melon hard seltzer made using fruit pieces from Taiwan, where Kevin is from. So if you are a fan of hard seltzer and you've always felt it just needed a little Asian flair, now you can get your hands on some. The yuzu flavor is 4.9% ABV. It clocks in at 120 calories, and it will soon be available in New York for purchase online, as well as at grocery stores and restaurants. You can check out @DrinkLunar on Instagram and drinklunar.com on the web to find out more.
I'm very interested in the pairings with the Asian cuisine. I went to, Asian restaurant not too long ago, and the beer they had was like the Sapporo, and it's called Sing. Mm-hmm. It's like TSING, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's very like it's kind of like a Bud Light. It's just kind of like a classic, just straight up. So I'm interested to see how they take the Asian flair for it to pair with cuisine. That sounds really cool.
And Gabe,
and for me to say that, it's seltzer.
I know. I was going to say you hate seltzer, as has been well documented on the show.
I don't hate seltzer. I'm just in a fight with seltzer. Moving right along, apparently beer is pretty popular in Oregon. Who knew? Coin Toss Brewing announces an expansion. The brewery and tap room in Oregon City is taking over a suite next door, which is allowing them to add a 1,500 square foot, basically doubling their current size. 2/3 of that will be a warehouse. They're going to have storage, offices, a new barrel aging program. Steven?
Put it in a barrel.
Really exciting for Coin Toss Brewing. All you Oregon folk out there, Coin Toss Brewing opening up a little bit.
And elsewhere in Oregon, Hammer and Stitch Brew Co. is opening a tap room in Slabtown, Oregon. I don't know if that's a neighborhood or if that's the name of the city. That's
so awesome.
This is a Portland, Oregon brewery. I don't know where Slabtown is, but
if you're from Slabtown, we will give you a shout out. We will give you a shout out in the Instagram story.
So brewmaster and co-founder Ben Dobler, he's looking to create an approachable beer menu specializing in easy drinking and character-filled lagers and ales. Ben is apparently pretty big in the Portland brew scene. He has 27 years of brewing experience. Widmer Brothers Brewing Company, Laurelwood Brewing Company, Mount Tabor, and Bridgeport Brewing Company, not Bridgeport, Connecticut, but Bridgeport, Oregon. The space is going to feature an open, bright tap room and patio space. It's meant to be immersive, welcoming, and inviting. And in an interview with Brewbound, Ben Dobler said, quote, "We hope folks will be encouraged to ask us questions about the process and what we're working on. Our open layout is all about inviting people to take part in what we call, quote, brewery theater. So get down to Slabtown, people." Get down to Slabtown.
I want a t-shirt that says that. Get down to Slabtown.
If there's not a t-shirt that says that, it's a missed opportunity.
We're going to make them for the show. Get down to Slabtown, brought to you by the Hot Podcast.
Get down to Slabtown.
And rounding out the news and notes, Harpoon, for those of you who don't know, has created a Dunkin' Donuts mix pack.
Did we talk about this in This Week in Gross a few weeks back, or is that just me?
You know what? Probably. I don't know if it was in This Week in Gross or This Week in Yum, but it was one of those. But we're talking, it's moved up in the world, making its way into the news and notes now. It's Harpoon's coffee and donut infused beers made with real Dunkin' coffee and donuts. They have a Boston Cream Stout. Sounds delicious. Jelly Donut Hazy IPA. I'm down to try it. Pumpkin Spice Latte Ale. That's probably going to be the winner. and the OG coffee porter, which I've heard is very good. I've never tried it. The CEO of Harpoon's parent company says the demand for product has far exceeded expectations, which absolutely no shade to Harpoon or Duncan, but I didn't think it'd do that well. I'm sorry. That's not a shot. I'm just being honest. Basically, because of a shortage of cans, they need to stagger sales of the product a little bit. It's not really clear what this means. We don't know what's going on with production, but spoiler alert.
We're doing it. We're making a commitment to the people. We are doing this mix pack. It will happen. But yeah, apparently Harpoon, it's so popular that they don't have enough cans to keep going. So I don't know if it's going to be like, oh, New Hampshire, you get it this month. Massachusetts, you get it this month. Or if it's going to be like, we only make it in like every other month. I don't know. But
again, no shade. But like when this first came out, I was like, wow, like the coffee drinkers in this world are going to drink this. And now it's like, no, people can't get their hands on it fast enough. It's like, huh.
It's honestly the Jelly Donut IPA that's the monkey wrench. Everything else sounds delicious. The Jelly Donut IPA,
see,
I don't know.
It sounds good though. It sounds good. I don't know. I like the jelly donuts there. I don't know. I can't wait to try it. I can't wait.
We're gonna find out. Do you have a toast for us? Because I have had a day worthy of a beer.
Steven, I have a toast, but here's the little kicker, if you will. I've got two.
Two toasts?
One of them is very, very short. It was just so hilarious that I couldn't pass on it. But I've got one legit one and then a quick joke one. So it's basically one. Actually, this music is perfect for this. Whiskey is nice with water or ice, but how I long for a beer. Gin and some tonic cures illness chronic, but I do prefer a beer. Just a pint won't do. I'll need more than a few, no matter what time of the day. Truth be told, as long as it's cold, I'll drink it all up right away. You ready for number two?
I'm ready for number two. I don't know how you're going to top number one, but go ahead.
Roses are red, violets are blue, poems are hard, beer. Cheers, everybody.
Let's
good. Start drinking.
See, you felt intimidated by last week's cat toast, and you felt like you had to bring the fire.
I had to bring the big guns today.
Yeah, I get it. And you did, I think. Well done. So, Los Angeles Ale Works, huh? That's what we're doing?
Let's do it, and let's start the drinking venture in space, shall we? We are kicking things off with the Space XPA Into the Unknown. It is an extra pale ale.
Shout out to Frozen.
This is an extra pale ale coming in at a fun 6.5%. On the SRM chart, we're looking at a clear, dark straw yellow color. I would say like an 8, 9, 7.
Yeah, I'd probably put it around a 7 or a 6. It's pretty light. It's not hazy at all. It's very clear, like you said. I have a whole lot of carbonation. Looks like just a ton of bubbles coming up and drink it out of a pint glass. A Los Angeles Ale Works pint glass, by the way.
That he got at the brewery.
What? Not a lot of lacing. It's pretty clean around the glass. The head is this very frothy white foam.
It's literally a cloud.
Yeah, it's like a dream.
100%.
Like a dream. But this is one of those beers, we always say, I don't know if this makes sense to people when we say it, but like beer emoji. Honestly, it looks like that clear orange amber color.
I mean, look at the glass I'm drinking at. I'm literally holding the beer emoji.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, I smelled it right away coming out of the can.
I wasn't holding it near my face, and I could smell it from here.
Definitely not a lot of head retention though. I've sort of been watching it collapse quickly before my eyes.
Piney, hoppy, grapefruit.
Lots of citrus coming off this. Definitely some grapefruit. I would say grapefruit peel, which I feel like that sounds pretentious when I say that, but what I mean by that is I just mean that you get less of like the sweet side of it. You get a little bit more like something just a little darker, a little more bitter but it's definitely grapefruit.
It smells stronger, I think, than it is. I don't know how you feel about that, because we both have a 6.5, but I think it smells like a 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm smelling is the citrus first and foremost. It does have an herbal quality to it, or something sort of grassy that I'm detecting. You know, I guess that's the sort of hop forward nature of it. It's not an IPA, it's an XPA, meaning an extra pale ale. So it's sort of somewhere between, you know, a malty pilsner and an IPA. This is like a good, like, if you're like, I've always wanted to be into IPAs, but I can't find my way there.
Correct.
This would be a nice easy in. Yeah,
this would be a great introduction. And we've got the hops on the cans. I'm looking at, oh man, I can't wait to say this. Wakatu and Mosaic. Wakauto.
Wakatu, I don't know. Wakatu hops.
Wakatu. Sure, why not?
I think that's sort of in the Hallertau family, I think. I don't think I've ever had Wakatu hops before, but apparently they're from New Zealand, and apparently they're in this beer. Yeah, the nose, like, it kind of smells like orange juice. Is that weird? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say orange juice for me, but I'm definitely getting orange, like 100%.
That's like definitely what I'm getting, like right down to the pulp. Like I'm smelling, it smells like I'm about to have my morning glass of orange juice.
Well, without further ado,
let's do it.
Wow, this is, right off the bat, it's pretty crushable. I just took a giant gulp like it was nothing.
Yeah.
For me.
This had way more hoppiness than I was expecting. And part of that, I think, is because, you know, we've mentioned on the mics before, we like to do, you know, research on what some other people are tasting in the beers, and just, you know, prime ourselves for what to expect, if you will. And a lot of the reviews I kind of was reading was, you know, malt, sweetness. Malt is probably more prevalent than the hops, and that is not the case with what I'm finding. I think that they adjusted this beer recently from what it originally was. You know, this is one of their OG beers. We'll talk about the origin of the brewery, but even on their website, the stats that are on there, you know, are different than what we're dealing with. There's different hop blends, there's different ABVs. It feels like when I read the description of the beer from the brewery, tropical fruit hop aroma with rich Maris Otter malt. XPA yields a lighter, more refreshing West Coast hop experience. I mean, that is what I'm experiencing, but it's just more hoppy than I was expecting. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they try to kind of hit on the flavor the fruity flavorness rather than the hops. Like I feel like they're saying the flavor is a lot stronger, more forward, but I think it's the opposite. I'm getting all those, you know, fruit aromas and hop flavor and whatnot, but yeah, it's more hop forward than anything. Why is this so easy to drink? I mean, maybe obviously with a pale ale it's going to be easier, but at 6.5, I thought, all right, well, it's not going to just go down easily.
Well, I think it goes back to what I was just saying, you know, from their website. They were looking to yield a lighter, more refreshing West Coast hop experience, as opposed to the big, burly, sturdy IPAs that you see on the market a lot, that we drink a lot, that they certainly offer plenty of at LA Ale Works. This one is more like come celebrate the hops with us. Let's enjoy the hops without getting punched in the mouth with juiciness, with a whole bunch of you know, with a crazy high IBV or anything like that. Let's just it's sort of a hop spa, if you will.
Absolutely. Before we go any further, I did want to give a quick shout out to craftbeerkings.com. It's where we have gotten these beers. Oh, for me, it's where I got these beers being in New York. They delivered fast to my apartment. I ordered a bunch of stuff for the podcast. This beer and the other beer I'm drinking were in it. But yeah, I like how simple it is. Simple obviously isn't the right word, but it's pretty straightforward. I am getting a lot of bitterness in the back end though. Like aftertaste, it's hard bitter.
I think it's a pretty well balanced pale ale, but it's definitely bitter first. The mouthfeel, I would say it's sort of medium bodied. The carbonation is definitely lively, zingy, sort of, definitely sparkles in your mouth. But it's got a pretty crisp finish and leaves your mouth kind of clean, like not a whole lot of lingering bitterness, maybe a little.
No, yeah, it's like weird. It's not in the mouth. It's more of like the back of your throat for me.
Yeah, the back of the back of the palate for me.
Another quote from their site. Space XPA was designed to celebrate the amazing men and women in the aerospace industry. Its bright citrus flavor will draw you in, and its sessionable dryness will bring you back for another round.
Yeah, so Los Angeles Ale Works, it's kind of funny because I had not done all the research when I went to get the beer. I just went to get it. And I was driving there, and I drive past SpaceX, and I'm like, "Holy shit! Is that SpaceX?" Like the dudes who
let us in.
They just launched astronauts into space. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I had no idea, and I was like on the phone with my friend, and I was driving there, and I was like, "Holy shit! I'm driving past SpaceX. That's cool." And I took pictures of it, and so then come to find out, they literally not only did they name this beer for SpaceX because SpaceX is around the corner from them, but they're
like
also
literally down the street.
But they also, since they opened, have become like a favorite watering hole for SpaceX employees. So there's just apparently you could just go hang out at Los Angeles Ale Works and see astronauts and shit coming.
Astronauts go grab drinks at LA Ale Works.
I'm fascinated with space lately because I just watched that Challenger documentary on Netflix, which is dope. Like, you should check it out. I mean, it's not dope what happened. It's definitely horrible. It's definitely a tragedy, and it's terrible that it happened, and terrible how it happened, and everything about it is horrible. But I was fascinated by it.
Can't wait to watch it. Everything about it is horrible. You have to see.
I need to backtrack that real quick because but like the part about the space, I just can't imagine being in space.
Yeah, man. I don't know how my stomach would do with the weightlessness.
I don't know how my anything would do with the weightlessness. You know what creeps me out more than anything is like when you see them sleeping and their arms are just floating because they tie themselves down.
Yeah,
like they have to.
Oh, that's right. They have to because they'll wake up like
they'll
they'll hit their head and be like, "Oh, I'm floating over here."
They'll wake up in the kitchen or something, but like they tie themselves to the bed, but they don't like tie their arms down. So if you see pictures of them sleeping, their arms are just floating in the air.
I don't like that. That's crazy.
It's creepy. But kind of cool. But I don't know. Maybe this is a tangent we don't need to go on. But anyway, Los Angeles Ale Works is there for their employees, and SpaceX just launched those astronauts into space. So that's cool. That's what this beer is named for. And they actually have a few SpaceX beers. They have this one, and they have I think it's called Full Speed Ahead, which is a double IPA with a higher ABV. So this is like the lighter version of that. So Los Angeles Ale Works was founded by Kristofor Kip Barnes. It's a brewer-owned and operated neighborhood brewery in Hawthorne, California. So it's right outside LA. Like I said, I was there picking up the beer. It opened in January of 2017.
I believe it's Hawthorne's first craft brewery, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so apparently Hawthorne is this area of LA that is it's sort of LAX adjacent. It's sort of like outside, the Los Angeles proper area. And it's sort of this warehouse like neighborhood, and there's like wasn't a lot there. And then SpaceX came in and started sort of reviving the area. And then this is the first craft brewery in the area. So it's doing really well. So yeah, January 2017, I mean, like by like February, it was already like being written about as like a favorite local watering hole for SpaceX employees. So, but when you go there, it's one of those breweries that it's just a typical brewery. It's like warehouse, parking lot. You sort of pull in and you're like, is this right? And you drive to the back of the parking lot and there's like some weird like cycling studio in there and like a bunch of just random businesses, and in the back
sounds about right.
LA Ale Works, and you walk in and like it wasn't even like I walked in and I was sort of like, am I going in the right door? There's like some office space. I saw some tanks, and then I turned to the left and I walk in and I'm in the tap room, and it's a giant open tap room. There's sort of this L-shaped bar that looks out over and it's not like there's a glass and you see behind the glass there's tanks. It's like the tanks are right in front of you.
It's like right there. Yeah. I love that.
Just a wide open space with a bunch of taps.
We saw a lot of that when we were in Massachusetts. A lot of just like the tank is right there. Like you could touch it if you want. Don't touch it, but you could. And
it's a pretty big operation, and they brew a lot of beers. I mean, we'll get into what is on tap and everything, but there's a lot of beer going on. And then they also have an outdoor space with, I don't know if they have mini golf or if this guy was just mini golfing in the parking lot.
On his own, he had his own kit.
Yeah, I saw a guy putting a golf ball. I don't know what that was about, but just a great brewery space that I've lived in LA for a couple years now, and I've never been over there. It's kind of shocking to me. I will be back.
It's your new spot.
It's one of them.
They've been noted as brewing a spectrum of different styles, from traditional beers of Germany, England, Belgium, modern American IPAs. They have been quoted saying, "We embolden our recipes by adding foraged fruits, locally roasted coffee beans, and exotic teas, a little California flair." Yeah.
The LA Times interviewed their head brewer, Kip Barnes, and founder, and he said that he prefers classic German styles, and he prefers brews featuring interesting fruit and spice additions as opposed to really hoppy IPAs. But the brewing team at the time, this was early on, and he said you can't escape making IPA. It's what drinkers demand. But the brewers at the time were also working on a wood and barrel aging program. Stay tuned. And also a tart and funky Berliner Weiss. And now, that was a few years ago, in 2017. But now they have all that, barrel aged sour beers. They have a beer right now on tap brewed with it's sort of a beer wine hybrid, brewed with some Sauvignon Blanc or something like that.
Sexy.
We'll get into it. So they have they run the gamut. I mean, it's funny that he says he wasn't really an IPA person, because holy shit, do they have IPAs?
Yeah.
It's sort of this is one of the first breweries, I think, where we were deciding what beers to do on the show, and I looked at the list and I had to call you just in a panic. Like,
you called me and you were like, "All right, what do you have again?" Because there are just too many options.
There's like 35 beers, and I want to drink all of them.
All of them, yeah. Another thing that's cool about the brewery is it is your typical brewery. I mean, they've got the tabletop games, the patio games, giant Jenga. I mean, the arcade, shuffleboard. Like, they have all stuff like that.
Possibly golf. We don't know.
Possibly golf. Stay tuned. I didn't realize how close Hawthorne was, and you could speak to this. Hawthorne, how close it was to LAX. So, I mean, if you land in California, if you land at LAX, or if you're flying out of somewhere and you have time to kill, I mean, you can just head over to the brewery and kill a beer or two, and then go catch your flight or whatever.
First stop off the plane, or the last stop before you leave. Yeah, it's very close. It's over in that area. I mean, I don't know if people know LA, but LAX is just sort of on the way to Santa Monica, heading towards the coast, and Hawthorne is sort of right.
Take the 405A and then go south.
But it's a great brewery space. Definitely a place that when I walked in, I mean, honestly, I was there at like I don't know, 3 in the afternoon, like just early. And I still was like, maybe I should stay and have a beer here because I just wanted to be there.
I'm surprised you didn't.
I had to, there was a football game on. The Packers were playing. I had to get home to watch my team dominate again. 4-0 going into the bye week. It's fine.
Falcons, figure it out. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I am actually surprised by how much I like this SpaceX PA though. I thought, it would be, I honestly, I thought it would be kind of, because I like really hoppy beers, I don't tend to go for pale ales or extra pale ales because I tend to find them lacking in the kind of hop bitterness that I'm looking for. And this is not lacking in that at all. It's really, like I said before, it's kind of a nice showcase of the hops without any distractions, which I think
is a great first beer. Not just for us and our recording right now, not just for a night out with the friends, but like when you go to the brewery, you're like, all right, first round, what are we doing? Start with this because I can only assume it gets better from here. And speaking of better from here, I've got a beer I'm excited about. I know you have a beer you're excited about. I think we should flip a coin to see who goes first, but we have more beers to drink. Final thoughts on SpaceX PA.
If you are a super IPA person, this one may let you down. However, it also may surprise you. It's a really nice, like I said, just a nice celebration of hops. It's very well balanced. It's very easy drinking, and I think it's surprisingly flavorful. And it makes me want to go to space.
If you like space, if you like hops, if you like a little bit of bitterness, and if you like an easygoing introduction beer, Space XPA is the way to go. LA Ale Works.
Bang! Exclamation point!
Let's get more beer.
All right. I'm going to go first.
Please do. You should.
Cool.
You should, because mine's a showstopper. So
wow, as saying mine isn't.
I'm just being real. Real. Go ahead.
I've got the Zebra Stripe Milkshake IPA made with lactose and vanilla. And I'm so excited. I don't have a lot of Milkshake IPAs, so this is pumped. All right. This is coming in at a fun 7%. It poured a very beautiful, hazy, dark yellow color, like a faded yellow type of deal, faded straw, if you will. Beer Advocate gave it another new phone who dis. They haven't reviewed it yet. Untapped gave it a 3.57. It has a very pillowy, thin head. I poured it a little while ago. It has stayed true. When I first poured it, actually, to be honest, it was like, 4 inches thick and frizzled out, if you will. Not some good lacing on the sides, just a bit. I am gonna smell it now. It smells like milk almost. I can smell lactose straight up.
Nice.
It's very, very powerful. Wow.
Can you smell the vanilla?
Yes, I'm getting it's very subtle, but it's there. I'm getting the lactose. I'm getting, that sweetness that you normally would with a milkshake IPA.
I always love when there's I am a big fan of vanilla, and I love when they add it to beer, and it's just like it's like you said, it's such a subtle flavor that sometimes I almost, even when I know it's in there, I have a hard time picking it out. So
yeah, I feel like it's one of those beers where it's like if you didn't know it was in there, you might miss it. Interesting. I'm smelling a lot of the lactose and not much else. So we'll see what translates on the taste.
Are you getting citrus at all?
Now I am. Like with the first couple sips, no. It's just the most subtle thing ever. It's so soft. It's really not the star of the show, which is totally fine. But like if someone took one drop of citrus and just threw it in there at the top.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm looking at the hop blend that's in there. It says El Dorado Brew 1, which I've never heard of, and Mandarina Bavaria hops. So
Yes.
we're not talking Citra and Mosaic and all that Simcoe-y stuff. We're talking some...
Tettnang!
Ain't no Tettnang here. We're
Yeah,
talking,
very, very different.
I wonder if there's any Saz. Oh, they have a lager that they call their Saz lager, and I almost bought it just for you.
Bro. Okay, on the taste. Creamy, delicious. Interesting. So it tasted one way, and then I licked my lips, and that's where the citrus is. That has never happened to me before. I don't get it on the taste at all, but when I licked my lips is when I got it. Like, I guess you can call that an aftertaste back end.
I guess. Or maybe you just hit it with the part of your tongue. I mean, the front of your tongue is more attuned to citrus and the back of your tongue is more attuned to bitter, so maybe you just hit it with the front of your tongue.
Is that what it is? Is that a fact?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Look at you, Mr. Health Professor.
I hope I'm right about that, because it would be really embarrassing if I'm not. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the bitter taste buds are towards the back of your tongue, which is why sweet tends to hit your palate first, and then as it goes to the back and sides, that's where the more bitter, darker flavors are.
It makes sense for this. I mean, I'm not necessarily tasting like chocolate. Like I wouldn't, this isn't like a Murphy Stout. You know what I mean? Like it's not that sort of deal, but it is it's got the hoppiness. Like it's not overpowering. It's there. It's like I said, the citrusy when you lick your lips for me. There's a little bit of fruitiness. I would say maybe mango, maybe like pineapple-ish, a little bit. But it's still, again, what it follows the nose quite nicely on the like creamy side of things. Like it is very smooth. It's very filling. It's very creamy. The carbonation is there, but it's not too overpowering. A note from the site itself, from the brewery itself: no lingering bitterness here. We add lactose and vanilla to an IPA based brewed with El Dorado Brew 1 and Mandarina Bavaria hops. All the fruit flavor of that zany zebra gum with no fruit added. The fruit is there, but it's like, I feel like I would need a reminder. Like, I feel like it's one of those things like, hey, can you smell the fruit? And then you smell it and you go, oh yeah, there it is. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if I would, like in a blind taste test, I don't know if I get it like immediately. But the sweetness is definitely there. The vanilla isn't really, you can't really taste the vanilla, but I know it's in there. I don't have too many milkshake IPAs. I like this. It's creamy. It's delicious. It's kind of different, but it's also kind of true to itself at the same time. Like I said, it's got a little bit of that hoppiness, and, overall solid. Zebra Stripe. I mean, when I was on Craft Beer Kings looking for the beers, the description about the beer, about the hops, and about how it's how it tastes and what you can expect is what made me go, oh yeah, that's my second choice. So here's to the ladies who lunch. Here's to all the zebras out there living life, and solid for me. I love this.
So when I was trying to decide on my second beer, I was looking at their list, and we'll tell you guys some of the beers they had on tap, but I love my West Coast IPAs, and they have a lot of them, a lot of beers that are intentionally West Coast dank, heavy hop brews. They've got some double IPAs. They've got some triple IPAs. They've got some stuff that would challenge me, some stuff that excited me. Mm-hmm. But then I looked towards that bourbon barrel aged stuff, and I couldn't stay away. And what I ended up with, so we're looking at the Jazz Forever. It's the bourbon barrel blend, and we're just gonna listen to some smooth jazz while I drink this one because I think it deserves it. So
this is a hop podcast first. I don't remember ever hearing toast music for just the beer.
It deserves it. It's called Jazz Forever.
I was just about to say, it calls for it. I'm not complaining at all.
Here's the deal, people. This one clocks in at 10% ABV. Woo. It's on the SRM chart. It's around a 40. It's very jet black. The Beer Advocate hasn't rated it. Untapped has it at a 4.07. This is a blend of Russian Imperial, 40% Russian Imperial, 40% Roggenbach, which I've never had a Roggenbach before in my life, and 20% barley wine. All right, so they take that blend of beers, then they age it for a year in Heaven Hill barrels. The brewery claims notes of cocoa, caramel, vanilla, praline, rich, smooth bourbon layers, and they say to cellar it for years. I, unfortunately, cannot cellar it for years because I have to drink it for you guys, but I would love to if I could.
It's for them, but it's also for you. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of beer that we haven't done Firestone Walker yet on this podcast because it's one of my favorite breweries, and we're waiting. Honestly, we're waiting for Gabe to be in LA, and we're waiting for the right time.
I was waiting for that.
Honestly, that's what we're waiting for, to be able to get the right beers from there. But they have a beer called their Anniversary, and when you buy that, it comes in a box, and it has a note card, and it tells you exactly what the blend is. This percent this beer, this percent this beer. This is one of those situations. So they took a Russian Imperial, a Roggenbach, and a barley wine. They blended them. They aged them in barrels. Heaven Hill Bourbon, great. And that's what we're getting into. And I mean, I read that description, and it was like click in the cart.
You fell to your knees and said,
"Purchase,
dear Lord, someone save me."
Yeah. So here we go. This one's for the strong beer lovers, the stout lovers, the people that love those big flavors. That's what we're doing. So like I said, jet black, 40 or more on the SRM chart.
Oh yeah. The
head was a tan. It's that tan brown head. Lots of sticky lacing around the glass. The head retained for a while, and then dissipated. On the nose, yeah, I mean, we're talking bourbon and chocolate first and foremost.
Nice.
Some raisin, spice, definitely sort of dark fruit, sort of plum, maybe cherry, macerated cherries, just that deep, rich fruit and sweetness. It's kind of surprising how much chocolate there is. Maybe a little bit of espresso on the nose as well. It's the kind of beer that just it hits your nose, and then I cannot wait to drink this.
5, 6, 7, 8. Watch him hate it. How funny would it be if he was like, "Yeah, I don't know, I just don't like it."
Yeah, first of all, there was 0% chance of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to start with the mouthfeel, which I normally don't, but it is rich AF. It's like it just coats your mouth. It's like it goes in and you just feel these flavors warm over your palate. It's boozy, it's bourbony, it's very chocolatey. There's like a lingering flavor in my mouth of like almost like I just ate a piece of chocolate that just melted over my mouth. It just coats your whole palate. There's a whole lot of flavor to take in here, and as I sip on it, it is going to continue to develop. This is one of those beers that is a slow sipper. It's going to warm both in the glass and in your mouth, and as it warms over time, it's going to take on different flavors. This beer is an experience, and I am drinking the one that I bought this weekend. I can only imagine what I'd be looking at if it was cellared for a while. Although, looking at the can, this was canned in December. So this has actually been hanging out for a while. And this is one of those beers that, the more you can do that, the better off you are, Right.
And, you want to drink the beer as fresh as possible. But, if it works, it works,
Yeah, but this beer, it was brewed and then it sat for a year in bourbon barrels before it even hit this can. and then it hit a can in December of 2019, and then it was cellared for a while until I bought it. So, I would have kept this for another 6 months to a year anyway, just to see and I have a few beers in my fridge that I've been sitting on for months. But
yeah, you and I are very similar in the sense of like every beer in the fridge has a purpose. It's like, all right, this is a beer that like I'm not going to think about. I'm just going to drink whatever. But this is a beer. It's like, okay, I have the night off. We got a movie on. Yeah. I want to think about, you know what I mean? And I feel like this is definitely one of those.
This is what I call an event beer. This is the kind of beer that I coined that term a few years ago, and I stand by it. It's just like, I can't just have this beer when it's just like, I just need something to drink while I like do work. No. This beer is like, I need to think about it.
It needs to be appreciated.
Yes. The flavors, I mean, I could go on for days. You could pick up a little bit of vanilla in it. Definitely the roasted malts come through. I don't get a whole lot of citrus off it, although maybe some cherry, like I was saying before. I really do detect the barley wine. I mean, I'm a big fan of barley wines. Barley wine is a very boozy beer style that also tends to have a little bit of hoppiness or fruit flavor to it. So I like it more than I like a sort of an imperial stout, which is I like that style as well, but that tends to be very chocolatey, very espresso, very all that stuff, which that's in here. But the barley wine comes through and I think balances it out really nicely. This has just absolutely excellent reviews on Untappd. I read through all of them, which I normally don't do, and I could not find one single negative beer review on there. It's goddamn in fact, stand up for the well done, Los Angeles Ale Works. This is everything I knew and hoped it would be, and this was the right choice. It's just, I'm going to be sipping on it for a while. And
you've got the evening ahead of you. Mm-hmm. Like that's not, you need to take time for that. And I'm fully stand by it.
Yeah. It's one of those beers, if you're someone who's looking for just a beer to drink, don't spend the money on this, and don't go for this one, because it's deserves to be appreciated. But if you're looking for something to sit around, curl up by the fire. Winter's coming if you don't live in Los Angeles. Definitely.
Winter is coming.
It's just the kind of beer it's a beer for beer drinkers. It's a beer for people who appreciate the complexities and all the different things that's going on in there. I mean, I could give you, I just don't think, I don't know. I could give you a laundry list of everything from the fruit to the sweet to the subtle hoppiness to the malt flavor that I get to everything that's in here. The booziness, the bourbon, the oak. There's just so much good. But ultimately, it's just a beer that I'm just gonna absolutely love drinking.
Yeah.
And maybe regret in the morning. We'll see.
There are plenty of other beers on tap at LA Ale Works. They've got just so many to offer. I believe they only have crowlers. Well, they have mostly crowlers available. I believe they do have regular cans.
No,
but
they have regular cans. So if you go there, they have you can buy crowlers of stuff that they don't can, but they also have a huge beer fridge of cans. In fact, I actually ordered one beer in a crowler. I ordered the SpaceX in a crowler, and they ended up giving me cans because it kicked. So they gave me a 4-pack, which was very nice of them.
I mean, we're looking at all different sorts of things. Full Thrust, I believe you were talking about that earlier. The double IPA, big hoppy imperial, infinite potential. It's a 5%er, but it's a Munich lager. I mean, they've got all different styles and things like that. The Flight Path double IPA.
They have a kitten series. I bought the Lunar Kitten. It's a West Coast IPA. They have a lot of West Coast IPAs, which I really love. I've talked about on the show before that the juicy IPA style is just so done right now that it's almost hard to find these West Coast IPAs. Well, they have them. they have a triple IPA at 10%, which the can art on the triple IPA, I want you to find that. The Quantum Leap triple IPA, the can art is like, it's like a psychedelic like trip, and like,
oh boy,
it's just
that
like,
is trippy.
It's very trippy, and I'm just imagining.
It's that filter where it's like 3 colors on one letter.
Yeah, I'm just imagining.
It's hard to explain, but
if I looked at that after I had one of those triple IPAs, I would just it would blow my mind.
I think that's the point.
They also have an orange tabby lager with a fat orange cat on the front of it. Shout out to the beer we did last week.
I'm also, speaking of bourbon barrel things and all that goodness, I'm looking at Russian Attack Bourbon Barrel Stout, 13%.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That almost happened. They have a fest beer. We just did Oktoberfest. They have a fest beer right now. They've got something for everybody. Honestly, they go from German styles. They have juicy IPAs galore. They have West Coast IPAs galore. They have high ABV beers. They have low ABV beers. They have sours. They have the wine beer hybrid that I mentioned before, which is the Oliveria beer wine hybrid Blanc with Wegener grapes. I don't know how to say that.
I do have to say, having done, we were in the East Coast for a while. We were, staying in Connecticut for a little bit. Sampling some LA or West Coast offerings is actually really refreshing and a different spin on things, and I appreciate it that much more. So it's very nice to be drinking some West Coast styles.
I agree, and I feel that to find a brewery like this that has so many different styles to offer, when you go into the beer stores, it is very hard to find anything outside of IPAs here, and it's just really refreshing to see. We're not seeing pumpkin beers here, but we are seeing fest beers, and we're seeing a Marzen or two, and we're seeing sours, and we're seeing just things that are different. And I think that that's really refreshing. And, of course, the West Coast IPA style is alive and well. And then I've got this fucking delicious, beautiful
this
beer.
Powerhouse of a beer.
Yeah. So, yeah, LA Ale Works, well done. I think one of my favorite episodes we've had in a while. I'm really happy we found them.
Yeah, like I said, it's very nice to have a change of pace with the West Coast style. So well done.
So before we get out of here,
we always love to end on a fun topic. And normally, sometimes it's not about beer, sometimes it is. This one is. Switching back to the East Coast real quick, New England Beer Company, NEBCO, as we like to call them, had a Willy Wonka contest.
Bitch on Willy Wonka.
Bitch on Willy Wonka. Where basically, so they sent out their seasonal, I couldn't wait to say this, Schnitzengiggles. Schnitzengiggles. It's their German style fest beer. They normally just have it on tap at the brewery, but for the first time ever, they have it in cans. And what they did was, just like Willy Wonka and the movie and whatnot, they sent out 10 golden lids, the golden seal. So if you purchased the Schnitzengiggle at a liquor store and you found it with the golden seal, just like the movie, you bring a friend, you get a tour of the brewery, and it was a Willy Wonka themed tour. Some of the employees dressed up as Oompa Loompas. They deserve a raise. I can't believe they got him to do that. And the owner and head brewer, Robert Leonard, dressed up as Willy Wonka himself, and had his cane was all beers. Like, it was beers stacked like on top of one another. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, wow. You
know what I'm saying?
Wow, he did it. It's all Sea Hag. I cannot believe.
That's an employee dressed up
unreal.
As an Oompa Loompa. But yeah, they had this whole thing. The event took place on October 3rd. Yeah, apparently it was a Willy Wonka themed tour at the brewery. one guest that you're choosing, like I said, secret passageways, canned mazes, beer tasting. They had a pedal bike trip around town. And yes, they did practice COVID safety precautions. They had masks. They socially distanced. They did the whole deal. But I'm mad I missed this. I wish I had found Schnitz and Giggles in the store.
I am not that surprised because I know Nebco, and it's up the street from my house in Connecticut, and it's just a great brewery, a great welcoming brewery that, you know, the employees are always really great and helpful when you go there, and just have a sense of humor. So I'm not entirely surprised they got them to dress up as Oompa Loompas. And the brewery itself is like, it used to be, I mean, it still is pet friendly, but it used to be like, you used to go in and there'd just be like dogs everywhere in there. Like, I don't think, you know, everything's outside now. But yeah, that, like, it was just like puppies and dogs and like board games and stuff. And I mean, it still is, because Connecticut is in a, I mean, knock on wood, in a decent place with COVID. But
yeah, they're the fest beer that they that had the golden lids on it. It has a picture of the original Augustus Gloop from the movie. So I mean, it's hard to miss. And I first heard about this in a newspaper article, and one of the things that it said was like, it's so, you know, people love the beer, number one, but number two, I mean, it's hard to miss because you have just Augustus Gloop's face on it, and then when you take it out of the little container and you see the golden seal, and people were just grabbing it right away. But apparently it was a very well attended event. It was a lot of fun, and they hope to do it again next year. And Steven, I think we need to look out for, I'm going to say it again, Schnitz and Giggles.
Yay! I think that they need to enlist the people over here at SpaceX, and at the end of the Willy Wonka tour, they should shoot a rocket out the ceiling into space, like at the end of the movie. But I mean, you know, I'm just a dreamer. What can I say?
I think it's a good idea. I'm in support of this idea.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another round of The Hop. We hope it was a good one for you, because it certainly was for us, and I'm going to be nursing this beer all night long. Like we said at the top, follow us on the social medias, send us a message, send us what you want us to drink, all of that good stuff. Like, subscribe, and rate and review on Apple Podcasts. It really is so important. It's more important than you think, and it helps us tailor the show to you. So please do that. And if you've already done it, hey, thank you.
Thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week for round 42.
Wow. See you later.
Peace.